Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
From makeshift studios deep in the heart of stately Maine Manor, this is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show, and I am your host, Joey Harris. You can follow the show's Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. Folks, how are you doing this week? Everything all right? Everybody doing okay? First of all, right at the top of the show, I have to wish a happy trails as we lost both Barry Orton, the famous Barry O, legendary journeyman wrestler, as well as right after I printed my notes for this, I heard last night, before I record this, that Blade Braxton had passed away. Longtime co-host of the WrestleCrap Radio podcast, and just all-around great wrestling guy, horror movie guy, big trauma movie fan and actor, and we'd been Facebook friends for probably a decade or more now. I saw where he had passed away unexpectedly, so very sad, but I don't know any details at this moment, so happy trails to both of them. And folks, are we going to get any crazier off of the Peacock edits? It's old news by now, but Peacock, as they're putting things on their version of the network, they are editing things out. Now, a few weeks ago, I did the WrestleMania 6 card, and I covered the match between Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown, and I talked then, as I will talk now. It wasn't right then, it's not right now. As well as the Vince McMahon comments on the Survivor Series 2005. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, look it up. Won't be hard to find. But I am a completist by heart. I wish Peacock would develop profiles and content restrictions and make those a mature content restriction with warning labels and all of that. But it is show business. It's not show friends. They paid $1 billion for this, so they can pretty much do what they want to with it. And I also found out this week, I talked about my wife and I doing these date nights. We're putting together a puzzle, and I found out this week my wife and I have very different ideas about how to put together a puzzle. Now, to me, you start with the edges. You get all of the edge pieces. Then you start at one specific point that you think could be easy to put together. You work out from there. Now, my wife wants to separate all the pieces into individual categories, which is fine. But that's what she spends all of her time doing. And we never actually get to the puzzle. And so we've been having a back and forth about this. We just have very different beliefs on how to put together a puzzle. But I don't think that it's enough to put our marriage in trouble. She may disagree. I've not gotten her thoughts on this yet. I'll let you know. And I spend a lot of time watching and preparing notes for this show and listening. I have a backlog of podcasts that I listen to, but I don't get a chance to listen to everything. There are certain shows that I can't listen to every show. If there's an interesting topic that they talk about, sure, I'll drop in on that. But apparently there was some talk and commentary about what you put on a hamburger. And some people are adamant that cheese does not belong on a hamburger. And I think that those people have a deficiency in their lives that can be cured by putting cheese on their hamburger. The vortex in their cerebral cortex can be helped by reuniting the dairy with the cow between two pieces of bread with other condiments. But I just didn't know that it was so risque and forbidden to put cheese on your hamburger. What do you put on your hamburger? I'm all about the cheese. Put double cheese on there. Let's go with it. Regardless of that, today we look at WrestleMania 27 from the WWE. WrestleMania 27 took place on April the 3rd, 2011, from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. I guess insert obligatory Charlie Daniels something went down to Georgia joke here. I don't have one of those jokes, but if you think of one, record yourself and then insert it into this section right here. There were 71,617 in attendance, and the show did 1,059,000 buys on pay-per-view. We get a welcome to WrestleMania before Carrie Hilton comes on to sing America the Beautiful. We then get a WrestleMania intro and the intro of The Rock. He gets a good ovation as he makes his way to the ring. A Rocky chant goes out. This is a great way to pump up the crowd. He does a promo on John Cena talking about Fruity Pebbles. He really gets the crowd hyped up. Another Rocky chant goes out. He and the crowd finish with "If you smell what The Rock is cooking." A WrestleMania homecoming video package. World Heavyweight Championship match. Edge with Christian versus Alberto Del Rio, introduced by Ricardo Rodriguez. Del Rio comes out in a Rolls Royce. They show Brodus Clay at ringside, who will be in Del Rio's corner. As Christian comes out, the announcers are introduced. Josh Matthews, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole, who is in his coal mine cubicle. Edge gets a huge ovation coming out. Del Rio very aggressive starting out, working on Edge's injured arm, moving in and out of the ring, slamming the injured arm on the announce table, but can't get the pin. Edge ducks a charge, and Del Rio takes a sick bump to the outside. Edge then launches himself over the top rope, and the crowd loves it. Then there's a wicked spot as Del Rio does a top rope arm drag to Edge. Edge hits a flapjack, and you can tell that he is injured. Edge counters the cross arm breaker for a 2 count. A "Let's Go Edge" chant goes out. Del Rio puts on the cross arm breaker. Edge gets to the ropes. Edge hits a guillotine on Del Rio, then goes up top, but Del Rio hits an enziguri. Christian gets into it with Ricardo after he knocks Edge's foot off the bottom rope. Clay slams Christian, and Edge rolls Del Rio up for a 2 count. He hits the execution, and a cry for the spear goes up. The crowd gets to its feet. Del Rio ducks the spear, and Clay grabs Edge and runs his arm into the post. Del Rio gets the cross arm breaker on again. Edge pushes Del Rio down for a pin and gets 2. And Del Rio has to break the hold to kick out. Edge puts on a modified sharpshooter. Christian takes out Clay. Del Rio powers out, but Edge hits a spear to pin Del Rio. A giant ovation for Edge as he leaves. He stops by Del Rio's car and points to it, and the crowd chants "Do it" to him. He starts kicking and beating it. Christian comes out with a tire iron and a crowbar. Del Rio begs them not to as they bust the car up. Edge then poses on top of the car. This would be Edge's final match for 9 years as he retires due to injury the next day. Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler bicker over their match coming up. Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio. A recap of what led to their match tonight. Mysterio has on Captain America-inspired gear. Rhodes very aggressive starting out. He gets a couple of 2 counts after some brutal moves. Mysterio can't get anything going. Rhodes with a big superplex. Mysterio coming back. He hits some big moves. The crowd is quiet for this match. The fact that Rhodes is not wearing knee pads is distracting to me. The crowd starts to liven up when Mysterio comes back, but quiet down when Rhodes stops it. Rhodes takes Mysterio's knee brace off. Mysterio with a big moonsault to get a 2 count. Rhodes' protective mask that he is wearing comes off, and Mysterio hits a 619. He gets a couple of 2 counts. He then puts on Rhodes' mask. Rhodes kicks out of a Mysterio splash, and a small Cody chant goes out. The referee goes to throw the mask out of the ring, and Rhodes hits Mysterio with the knee brace, and then hits the Crossroads to win. Rhodes then covers his face as he leaves. This is not on the network version, but then Snoop Dogg does a backstage segment auditioning WWE superstars to go on tour. Roddy Piper makes a cameo, otherwise this is a real momentum killer. The finale here was Hornswoggle rapping. Heath Slater, Ezekiel Jackson, Wade Barrett, and Justin Gabriel versus The Big Show, Kane, Santino Marella, and Kofi Kingston, who was a replacement for Vladimir Kozlov, who the Corps took out during Access. Slater and Marella start. Slater is just annihilated by Marella and then Big Show, everyone in and hitting different moves. Big Show gets the knockout punch on Slater after Marella gets the Cobra on him. Big Show then pins Slater. The Rock is shown backstage talking to Eve Torres. He then runs into Mae Young. She says she wants a piece of the people's strudel. Yikes. She then slaps Rock's ass. Rock then runs into Stone Cold. They exchange some small talk before shaking hands. Flashback to the tension and everything that has led to the Randy Orton CM Punk match. Randy Orton versus CM Punk. Punk has a nice ovation coming out, but Orton has a bigger ovation. Orton has a bandaged right knee. Both very aggressive starting out. Punk with a 2 count after a crossbody. Orton coming back. Punk concentrating on the leg, but can't get the 3 count. Punk counters the RKO with a nice kick, but still only gets a 2 count. Orton crotches Punk on the top rope. He then hits a top rope superplex. Punk recovers and puts Orton in a figure 4 around the ring post. Orton breaks out, but Punk continues the assault on the leg. Orton coming back and somehow hits a power slam. He can't get the pin after a side suplex. Punk goes on offense with a barrage of kicks. Punk gets the Anaconda Vice on. Orton breaks out of it and runs Punk into the corner post. He hits his rope DDT. He goes for a punch, but his leg gives out. He then goes for an RKO, but Punk pushes him off. Punk goes for a move off the top rope, but Orton hits the RKO in midair. He then gets the pin. The Rock is shown backstage with Mean Gene Okerlund. Rock says he's heard John Cena's #1 fan is coming to confront him because he's upset with him, and Mean Gene says he's already here. Rock turns around and it's Pee Wee Herman. He says, "You can't see me." Rock says he can be on Team Bring It or the Fruit Loop Troop. He then shows Mean Gene in John Cena gear. Mean Gene then insults him. Pee Wee then joins Team Bring It. Howard Finkel announces the 2011 WWE Hall of Fame class. Abdullah the Butcher, Sonny, the Road Warriors, Drew Carey, Bullet Bob Armstrong, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Shawn Michaels. Shawn gets a nice ovation coming out. It's funny that he and Sonny went in the same year considering their history. Flashback to Jack Swagger trying to take Jerry Lawler out the previous Monday on Raw. Booker T and Jim Ross are introduced as commentators for the upcoming match. Michael Cole with Jack Swagger versus Jerry Lawler. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the special guest referee. Cole comes out in a wrestling singlet and headgear, insulting Lawler and JR. Austin comes out in an ATV. He almost hits Swagger coming down and runs Cole back into the coal mine. Lawler comes out, but Cole won't come into the ring, saying he's not ready yet. The bell rings. Lawler goes outside and takes out Swagger, and Cole tries to beg off. Lawler then shakes Cole's hand and then beats Cole against the coal mine. He throws Cole into the podium. He throws Cole into the ring and Swagger attacks Lawler outside. Cole hits Lawler with the baseball slide, and Swagger applies the ankle lock to him on the outside. Austin slow counts, and Lawler gets inside, and then Cole attacks Lawler. Cole concentrating on the leg that Swagger attacked. Cole then does a Swagger bomb from the bottom rope. He gets a 2 count. Lawler starting to come back. Cole goes back to attacking the leg. Cole pulls down a strap mimicking Lawler and applies his own ankle lock. Lawler fighting back. He stomps Cole in the corner. Swagger throws in the towel and says, "Ring the bell." Austin wipes himself with the towel and throws it back to Swagger. Swagger climbs into the ring. He gets into Stone Cold's face and gets stunned. Cole gets mad and slaps Stone Cold, saying, "You don't know who I am." He then pushes Stone Cold, who pushes him back right into a right-hand punch by Lawler. Lawler continues to punch Cole down. A Jerry chant goes out. He drop kicks Cole, climbs to the second rope, drops the strap, and hits the fist drop. He pulls Cole up after 2. He puts Cole into an ankle lock, and he immediately starts tapping. Austin finally rings the bell. Swagger carries Cole away. Lawler and Austin do a toast with some cans of beer. Booker T comes in the ring. He does the spin-a-rooney. Then Austin stuns Booker T. The anonymous Raw GM chimes in. He says that Austin overstepped his authority in the match and that Lawler has been disqualified. A bullshit chant goes out. Lawler grabs Josh Matthews and throws him in the ring for making the announcement. Austin then stuns Matthews. Austin then leaves on the ATV. This allows JR and Lawler to call the rest of WrestleMania together. Highlights of WrestleMania 27 access. The Georgia National Guard soldiers are then shown. We then go to Triple H versus The Undertaker. No holds barred match. Flashback to the lead up to the match. Triple H's entrance takes over 5 minutes. The Undertaker has a spectacular entrance as well. His entrance also takes 5 minutes. It must be a competition between the two. Heavy shots from Triple H to start. It goes outside and Taker clears the Spanish announce table, but Triple H spears him into the coal mine, which collapses. Taker is down. Taker and Triple H then slug it out back in the ring, and Taker hits a flying chokeslam on Triple H. Taker starts to go for old school, but gets pushed off by Triple H. Undertaker then clothesline out of the ring and beat into the barricade by Triple H. Triple H clears off the announce table. Triple H goes for the pedigree, but gets backdropped off the table by Undertaker. It takes several minutes for both of them to recover. Taker launches himself from the ring onto Triple H at ringside. Taker takes the ringside steps away, and he and Triple H battle on them for a minute. Undertaker charges Triple H, who reverses it and hits a spinebuster on Taker through the Spanish announce table. Triple H rolls Undertaker back into the ring. Taker chokeslams Triple H and gets a 2 count. He sets Triple H up for the last ride, but Triple H pushes Taker back into the corner. Undertaker and Triple H dueling chant goes out. Then they both escape last ride pedigree attempts. Undertaker hits Snake Eyes on Triple H and goes to hit another flying chokeslam, but Triple H hits another spinebuster. That gets a close 2 count. Triple H goes outside. He grabs a chair. Taker gets a boot up to block and knocks Triple H down. Taker grabs the chair and whacks Triple H's back. He does it several times until Triple H gets a boot in and hits the pedigree. He gets another close count. Triple H goes for a top rope move, but Taker counters with the last ride. That gets a 2 count. Taker then does the throat slash motion. He hits the tombstone and gets the closest 2 count I have ever seen. Taker grabs the chair and places it close to Triple H. He goes to set Triple H up, but Triple H reverses it into a DDT on the chair. Both men struggle to get back to their feet. Triple H hits another pedigree and gets his own close 2 count. Triple H hits another pedigree for yet another close 2 count. Both men down again. They both get up and Taker goes to attack, but Triple H gets the boot up and hits another pedigree. He gets another 2 count. Triple H getting angry. He can't put Undertaker away. He hits another pedigree, another 2 count. He then takes the chair to Undertaker's back. He screams at Undertaker to stay down. He then keeps hitting the back with chair shots until he collapses from exhaustion. Undertaker struggling to get to his feet as the referee asks him if he wants to give up, and Triple H screams for Undertaker to stay down. Undertaker gets to his feet only to get knocked down again by a Triple H shot. Undertaker struggling and Triple H screaming, "Just die, stay down, and what's wrong with you?" Undertaker grabs Triple H by the throat. Taker weakly mimes for Triple H to bring it, and Triple H does the Undertaker throat slash motion and hits a tombstone piledriver on Undertaker. Undertaker kicks out, and the crowd loses it. Triple H rolls out of the ring and gets his sledgehammer. He stalks Undertaker, but when he gets close, Undertaker locks on the Hell's Gate submission. Triple H fighting to escape. Triple H picks up the sledgehammer, but drops it again. Triple H finally taps, and the Undertaker is 19-0. A section of the crowd is shown that has paper tombstones of all the Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents and the year on them. Triple H gets up first. Officials down to check on Undertaker. Undertaker struggles and falls out of the ring. They bring a mobile stretcher down for the Undertaker. A Don't Try This at Home ad. A 6-person mixed tag match. Vicky Guerrero comes out. She introduces LayCool and Dolph Ziggler. They are taking on the team of John Morrison, Trish Stratus, and Snooki. Guerrero looks disgusted when Snooki comes out. LayCool tries to attack them as they get into the ring. Ziggler trash-talking Snooki, who slaps him. Stratus and McCool start. McCool with the advantage, but Stratus counters with a facebuster. They battle on the top rope. They tumble to the outside. Layla comes over and Stratus gives her a shot, then hits a crossbody. Both members of LayCool from the apron. Back in, Stratus hits the chick kick on McCool, but Ziggler breaks up the pin. Morrison then hits Starship Pain to Ziggler on the outside of the ring. It's an incredible spot. Snooki tagged in and does a handspring elbow to McCool, though she mostly just hits her with her body there at the end. It was still an impressive move. She then hits a splash on McCool to get the pin. The cast of Tough Enough is shown in the crowd. The WrestleMania attendance is announced, 71,617. Video of The Miz watching video of former WWE champions interspersed with videos of himself. WWE Championship match. The Miz with Alex Riley versus John Cena. Miz out first. Cena's entrance is with a choir and a minister. The choir is singing "Your time is up, my time is now." Both men cautious to start. Miz retreats after a Cena hip toss. Miz stomps down Cena. Then Miz hits a corner clothesline. Big shots to Cena's head. Cena hits a gut-wrench suplex. He gets a 2 count. Miz hits a big slam for a 2 count. Miz misses a second corner clothesline. Cena hits a top rope leg drop for a 2 count. Miz hits a kick for a 2 count. Another kick and a 2 count for Miz. Cena wipes out after trying for a flying tackle, and Miz drops down. It goes to the outside. Miz hits a $1 million knee lift and goes back in the ring, but only gets the 2 count. The announcers say that it seems like Cena's equilibrium has been affected. Cena hits a couple of shoulder blocks and a 5-knuckle shuffle and goes for the attitude adjustment, but Miz counters it into a DDT. He gets a 2 count. Cena goes for an STF, but again Miz counters into a neck breaker. Gets another 2 count. Miz takes the turnbuckle pad off, but referee Mike Chioda steps in. While Chioda is fixing the turnbuckle pad, Cena gets a count, but Chioda only gets to 2 before Miz kicks out. The turnbuckle is still exposed, but Cena blocks being rammed into it. Cena gets the STF on, but Miz gets to the ropes. Cena breaks, but while the referee is distracted, Riley pushes Cena into the exposed turnbuckle, and Miz hits the skull-crushing finale. Cena kicks out at 2. Miz goes for it again, but Cena pushes him off into Mike Chioda. Cena hits the attitude adjustment, but there's no referee to count the pin. Riley hits Cena with the briefcase and knocks him out. Cena gets his shoulder up at 2.5. Riley complains to Chioda that there was a slow count as Miz sneaks up to blast Cena with the briefcase, but Cena ducks, and Miz accidentally hits Riley, who gets taken out. Cena hits a big attitude adjustment, but Miz kicks out at 2. It goes outside. Cena clotheslines Miz over the barricade. It looks like Miz thinks about leaving, but Cena tackles him. Both get counted out. Justin Roberts announces that the match is a draw and that Miz is still the champion. The Rock's music hits, and he comes out. He gets to the ring and the anonymous Raw GM chime sounds. JR and then Lawler go to read the message, but Rock tells them to hold on. He reads the message, which starts, "I think," and The Rock says, "It doesn't matter what you think." He throws the computer down and gets back into the ring. He restarts the match as a no count out, no disqualification match. Cena throws Miz in and goes for the attitude adjustment, but Miz escapes while Cena gets a rock bottom from The Rock. A Rocky chant goes out. The Miz then pins Cena to win. Rock in the aisle looking at Miz. He runs back to the ring and ducks Miz trying to hit him with the belt. He beats down Miz. He then does a spine buster and the people's elbow. He poses on a turnbuckle. They sign off from Atlanta with a highlight package of the night. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I am at @TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review in iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from Stately Maine Manor.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.